I'm going to be looking at examples of poetic rhythm and meter from 19th century American poetry. The meter you're probably most familiar with is iambic pentameter, which was used extensively by Shakespeare and many other of the most well-known English language poets. One example of iambic pentameter that we've seen this semester comes from William Cullen Bryant's Thanatopsis. To him who in the love of nature holds communion with her visible forms, she speaks a various language. For his gayer hours she has a voice of gladness and a smile. So the first 4 lines of the poem. If we read it in a more exaggerated way, we can see where the stresses are. To him who in the love of nature holds communion with her visible forms, she speaks a various language for his gayer hours. She has a voice of gladness and a smile. Even though this isn't the best way to read the poem, it's a useful tool for finding out where the stresses are in each line. So how do we know that this is iambic pentameter? First of all, we have to identify the feet that make up the line. A foot is the basic unit of poetic rhythm, so the main way to determine a feet is to figure out the pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables in a line of poetry. In this case, as we can see, to him who in, the stressed syllable is always preceded by an unstressed syllable. So this is an iamb. An iamb is a foot where an unstressed syllable is followed by a stressed syllable, as in the first 2 syllables of Cullen Bryant's poem, to him. So we've seen the whole poem, Thanatopsis, is made up mainly of iambs. Second, we have to determine the meter, which we can do by counting the stressed syllables, which will also tell us the number of feet in the line, since each foot has only 1 stressed syllable. To him who in the love of nature holds, that adds up to 5, so we know that we're dealing with pentameter, since a line of pentameter consists of 5 stressed syllables. There are other types of feet used extensively by 19th century American poets. We've seen a number of examples of them. I'll focus here on the 3 most important. One is the trochee, which is a foot in which a stressed syllable is followed by an unstressed syllable. It's essentially an iamb reversed. I have many of examples of it in standard English words like apple, whistle, and silly. An anapest is a foot with 3 syllables altogether, in which a stressed syllable is preceded by 2 unstressed syllables, as in 17, intercede. A dactyl is a foot in which a stressed syllable is followed by 2 unstressed syllables, as in tenderly, holiday, and Canada. Finally, there are other types of meter. We can determine them by, again, simply counting the stressed syllables, or feet, in each line of poetry. And what we do when we get that could be monometer, which would be 1, only 1 stressed syllable, dimeter, 2, trimeter, 3, tetrameter, 4, hexameter, 6, heptameter, 7, and octameter, 8 feet. So when we're doing this, we're engaging in something called scansion, which is a particular way of analyzing a poem. We determine a poem's rhythm by scanning it. And in order to do that, as we've seen, we identify the type and number of feet that make up each line.